product manager on the Amazon S3 team. Today, I'm excited to talk to you about how to gain storage observability and insights with S3 Storage Lens. As for our agenda today, we're going to start by covering the observability and insights portfolio we have in S3, so you can learn about all the available tools to help you get better understanding of your storage. Then we'll get a closer look into S3 Storage Lens with a product overview, followed by a demo and some popular use cases, and we wrap up our presentation today with a short Q&A session. So before we dive into our content, let's first clarify what is observability and what does it help me do. Observability describes how well you can understand what is happening in a system, often by instrumenting it to collect metrics, logs, or traces. To achieve operational excellence and meet business objectives, you need to understand how your systems are performing. However, in the cloud, observability can be hard to achieve due to sheer system complexity. So observability solutions are what enable us to collect and analyze data from applications so that you can understand their internal states. Shifting back to S3, over the last decades, we've seen our customers experiencing a major growth in cloud storage, going from managing a handful of S3 buckets to hundreds or even thousands of buckets across multiple accounts and regions. These customers have told us that it has become increasingly difficult and complex for them to understand their storage for cost optimization use cases or to improve security posture. Some of the questions our customers are trying to uncover were, how fast my S3 data is growing? How is my data distributed across storage classes, accounts, and regions? What are my largest buckets? What are my fastest growing buckets? And are all my objects encrypted? I hope that by the end of this presentation today, we will know how to answer these questions. So let's talk about the observability tools we have in S3. So S3 offers a range of observability and insights tools at different granularity level. S3 Storage Lens is a pre-configured dashboard experience that provides activity and usage metrics from the organization level going down to the account, bucket, and prefix level. Storage Class Analysis generates recommendations on the most appropriate and cost-efficient storage class for your data based on access patterns. S3 Inventory helps you to generate a list of S3 objects along with their corresponding metadata, such as size, storage class, encryption status, and more. S3 Server Access Log is a tool to log access requests at the bucket and the object level. And last but not least, we have S3 Metrics to CloudWatch to monitor S3 performance in CloudWatch. When we think about the customer journey into storage observability, we usually see Storage Lens as the first and easiest entry point for our customers to start with observability. And that is because Storage Lens is designed to give you a centralized visibility across your entire organization or account with just a few simple clicks. From there, once you have identified areas of storage, you can move to other tools that provide greater depth in various ways. For example, we can look at storage class analysis to understand access patterns and optimize storage classes. We can use inventory to get metadata on object level for audit use cases or custom analytics. Use server access logs to gain granular visibility into individual events or requests, and use S3 metrics to CloudWatch for monitoring use cases. Here is a helpful comparison for our observability and insights tools by granularity level, updating frequency, and pricing. So going by granularity level, Storage Lens provides you visibility from the organization level down to the account, bucket, and prefix level, with metrics that are refreshed daily and comes at 20 cents per million objects per month. Storage Class Analysis can be configured on the bucket and prefix level, updates daily, and comes at 10 cents per million objects monitored per month. S3 CloudWatch metrics are configured at the bucket or prefix level, and the updating frequency depends on the type of metrics you monitor. For example, request metrics are reported by the minute, while daily storage metrics are reported daily. Pricing for S3 CloudWatch metrics follows standard CloudWatch pricing. Inventory and server access logs provide object and request level granularity, with inventory updating daily or weekly, depends on the configuration, and comes at a quarter of a cent per million objects, while server access log is delivered hourly and at no cost once you enable it. With that, let's take a closer look at S3 Storage Lens. So a bit of a background about Storage Lens. We launched it at reInvent 2020 after we collected feedback from customers around 3 areas. Our customers were asking us for wider visibility, spanning multiple accounts and buckets, deeper granularity, down to the bucket and even to the prefix level, and actionable tips and recommendations to interpret these metrics. We found customers who build their own in-house analytic toolings by collecting data from S3, leveraging the tools we talked about like S3 Inventory Report and S3 Access Logs, then storing them in big data systems like Redshift and Athena, and then analyze them and create summarized insights to be presented in dashboards using tools like Amazon QuickSights. So the reason we built Storage Lens is really to remove this heavy lift for our customers and provide all of our customers a simple and easy access into storage analytics. While I will cover Storage Lens more deeply in our demo, I would like to call out a few of its capabilities. First, it has an interactive, highly visual dashboard built into the S3 console, which is auto-configured for all customers for free. These dashboards provide a centralized, organization-wide view of storage across all your accounts and buckets. You can also use dashboards to drill down for a top-level summary to more detailed levels like storage class, buckets, and even prefix. Storage Lens also provides 29 usage and activity metrics that are pre-aggregated at each granularity level. Alongside these metrics, Storage Lens provides callouts to identify best practices to improve cost efficiency and data protection. And our latest release that you're going to appreciate if you're a CloudWatch user, it has the capability to publish metrics directly to CloudWatch. So Storage Lens has 29 individual metrics covering 2 broad categories of usage and activity. Storage usage metrics relate to the size and type of storage, as you can see in the blue shading, while activity metrics relate to the requests against your storage, as you can see in the purple shading. Within these groupings, we further organize metrics into 4 main use cases. Summary metrics for gathering top-level insights like growth rates of your overall storage or average object size. Cost efficiency metrics to identify cost savings such as incomplete multi-part upload bytes or delete markers. Data protection metrics to find opportunities to apply best practices like data encryption or replication. And activity metrics to identify your hottest buckets or to locate abandoned workloads. While many customers appreciate the integrated in-console experience for Storage Lens, other customers perform analytics and observability tasks with other tools. This feedback led us to our latest Storage Lens release, which is the Amazon CloudWatch publishing option. In essence, what we did launch is to extend access to Storage Lens metrics so that customers can consume them in whatever tools or setting they prefer. This capability also opens up multiple use cases for customers using CloudWatch capabilities. Just to name a few, customers now can create centralized dashboards to monitor S3 Storage Lens metrics alongside other services and applications in existing cross-service CloudWatch dashboards. Customers can also leverage the CloudWatch built-in capabilities for alarms and triggered actions on Storage Lens metrics. This feature enables you to configure an alarm on any Storage Lens metric, specify a threshold for when to alarm, and even use SNS notification as an alerting mechanism. Another interesting use case in using CloudWatch is anomaly detection. Anomaly detection is just another method to set alarms, but instead of specifying your own threshold, you let CloudWatch to analyze historical metric data using statistical models to come up with a normal baseline. Then CloudWatch will alert anytime this metric value falls outside this range. So before we move into our demo, let's first talk about pricing. Storage Lens pricing consists of a simple 2-tier model with a free version that is auto-enabled for all customers and a paid version which customers can upgrade to for a cost of 20 cents per million objects monitored per month. By upgrading, one can gain access to multiple capabilities including additional metrics, deeper granularity at the prefix level, longer historical ranges, and the recommendation feature. Okay, with that, let's move on to a demo for Storage Lens, where I'll show you some of its capabilities. Okay, here I'm logged into the S3 console, and I want to call your attention to the left navigation pane where we can see dashboard under S3 Storage Lens. This view lists the existing dashboard I currently have. Here I want to call out again the default account dashboard, which is the pre-configured dashboard that is configured for each S3 account at the account level at no cost. So one click on it and we can access the interactive dashboard with usage data at the account level. However, for this demo, I actually prepared an organization-wide dashboard easily by using our integration with AWS Organization, which you can set up right here. As I enter the dashboard, I can see on top of the page a snapshot view with summary metrics per your previous day of usage. Here on the top right, I can see a date filter to focus on a particular previous date. And focusing back on the snapshot view, I can see summary metrics such as my total storage, number of objects, average object size, active buckets, accounts, and request count. In my case, I can see that I have about 180 petabytes of data spread across 40 buckets. In the section below, I can see the 29 metrics organized by summary, cost efficiency, data protection, and activity metrics. As I scroll down my screen, we can see the built-in interactive dashboard and visualization available in Lens. Here we have trends and distribution of usage by storage class and region with the flexibility to select a primary and secondary metric, as well as date range for deeper analysis. I can see how my total storage and object count are trending for the last 30 days in this example. In this section, I can see usage distribution by storage class and region. For example, I can tell that my data is mainly stored in S3 Standard and in S3 Intelligent Tiering, and spread across 5 regions, with US East, North Virginia being the largest one. The dashboards are interactive, so I can drill down and view more granular insights by different dimensions. For example, here I can focus on one region, and now my dashboard updates to reflect metrics and visualization on that region. I can edit or remove the filter anytime and go back to my original view. At the bottom of my screen, I have the top-end module that shows the top accounts, regions, buckets, and prefixes by any metrics of choice. I can adjust the top end to any value up to 25 and choose any of the available metrics for the metric field. We can also use the dashboard to drill down from top-level summary to more detailed levels by toggling through these tabs: Account, AWS region, storage class, bucket, and prefix. As I scroll through these, more data visualizations are available. For example, here I can see bubble analysis, which enables me to plot my buckets on multiple dimensions using any 3 metrics to represent the x-axis, y-axis, and size of the bubble. Now that we feel more comfortable with Storage Lens, let's see if we can try to answer the question that we presented at the opening of this presentation. So just as a recap, these were how fast my S3 data is growing, how is my data distributed across storage classes, accounts, and regions, what are my fastest growing buckets, and are all my S3 objects encrypted? Now let's see a demo of how we can answer these questions. How fast my S3 data is growing. I'd like to see a high-level summary and trends of my total storage. For this, I would go into trend and distribution. I'll leave storage as my primary metric, but change the date range to reflect data from the last 12 months. Here I see something interesting. My total storage is actually decreasing but my actual object count is increasing. Might be something worth looking into. To our next question, how my data is distributed across storage classes, accounts, and regions, we can take a look at the storage class distribution and identify that most of my storage is stored in S3 standard and S3 intelligent tiering. We also asked what are my largest buckets and what are my fastest growing buckets. We can get more insights about these questions from the top-end module. Let's adjust the top end to 10, leave the primary metric on total storage, set date range to 6 months, and change the percentage change comparison to month over month, as I would like to get a longer view. Now, as I scroll down, I can see the top 10 buckets sorted by storage, along with month-over-month growth and trends. I can see that these two buckets on top are my largest one, but on the other end, these buckets over here is the fastest growing one. We also ask, are all my objects encrypted? For this, I leave everything the same, but change the metric to unencrypted object count. Now I can see how my unencrypted objects are distributed across my organization by account, region, bucket, and even prefix. So it's really easy to pinpoint and remediate and encrypt those objects. Now, as we answer these questions, I also want to walk you through a few popular use cases for cost optimization to understand how you can save cost by using Storage Lens. To call out these use cases, are how can we identify buckets with large portion of non-current version? How can we identify buckets with incomplete multi-part uploads that we would like to clean up? And how can we identify buckets that have gone cold and maybe are not longer in use for our organization? So let's do a demo together where I'll show you how to uncover these questions. So as a recap, versioning is a native S3 feature that helps with data protection. When enabled on the bucket level, the S3 versioning feature retains multiple versions of the same object that can be used to quickly recover data if an object is accidentally deleted or overwritten. On the other end, S3 versioning can have storage cost implication if large number of previous non-current versions have accumulated. So you want to keep an eye on unexpected non-current versions that are accumulating in our account. So to do this analysis, we'll go to the Bucket tab and scroll down to the bubble analysis. We're going to set non-current version byte for the x-axis, the percentage of non-current version bytes for the y-axis, and leave total storage as the size dimension. What we want to look for in this analysis are buckets with large non-current version byte that also have high percentage of non-current version byte. So that would be anything in the upper right quartile that would be a good candidate for cleaning up non-current versions. For example, these buckets over here has 15 petabytes of non-current version bytes that represent about 50% of the total storage of the bucket. For our next use case, I would like to talk about how can we identify buckets with incomplete MPUs and clean them up. The multi-part upload feature enables you to upload very large objects up to 5 terabytes as a set of parts to improve throughput and quicker recovery from network issues. In cases where the multi-part upload process doesn't finish, the incomplete parts remain in the bucket in an unusable state and incur storage cost until the upload process is finished or until the incomplete parts are removed. Within the Bucket tab, I'm going to filter on the percentage of the incomplete MPUs. With this way, we can easily identify the distribution of incomplete MPUs in my organization, identify the top bucket with incomplete MPUs, and manage them, for example, by setting a lifecycle policy to expire incomplete MPUs after a specific number of days. For our third and last use case, I'm going to show you how to identify buckets that have gone cold. A cold bucket is one whose storage is no longer accessed or very rarely accessed. This lack of activity typically indicates that the bucket's objects aren't frequently accessed anymore. To do this, we will focus on the retrieval rate metric, which is computed as download bytes over total storage to indicate the proportion of storage in a bucket that is accessed daily. So under the bucket tab, I'm looking at the bubble analysis. I'm going to set up storage percentage for the x-axis, percentage of retrieval rate as the y-axis, and the average object size metric. Now what we're going to look for are any buckets with retrieval rates of 0 or close to 0 and larger relative storage size. For example, this bucket over here might be a good candidate with 0.5% retrieval daily rate. From here, we can identify the bucket owners in our account or organization and find out that if the storage is still needed. We can then optimize costs by configuring lifecycle expiration policies for the buckets or archiving the data using Amazon S3 Glacier. So these use cases wrap up our demo part for today. And with that, I'm happy to move on to the Q&A session.
Yeah, we do have a couple questions for you.
We do.
Okay.
So I feel like almost all or every customer gets this as part of S3. So what's the way for customers to get started using Lens?
Good question. Thank you, Sean. So yeah, as you mentioned, I want to call out again that S3 Storage Lens is enabled for every S3 account for free at no cost. So you can simply access your S3 console page and click on Dashboard under Storage Lens to start benefit from usage data at the account level. Simply as that, we're not seeing any risk or cost for enabling that. So after you start and experiencing this level of analysis, you can decide if you want to upgrade to the paid version. Again, depends on your use case.
I think that's really great value for the customers. Like even 4 years ago when I started AWS, I don't think customers could imagine having that functionality within S3, and seeing that delivered and seeing it delivered as free, and then kind of having more visual dashboards to make recommendations to. I think this is such a great feature. I think every customer should use it, at least a free version of it.
Yeah.
When you talk to customers, because I know our PMs talk to customers a lot. What do they like most about Lens?
There are a lot of things they like about Lens. Apart from the easy lift of just getting started with the visualization and the easy configuration, customers love that. But I think the main thing that customers love about this feature is that it can help them save money. And who doesn't like to save money? So it really can reduce your storage bill. You can access and start analyze your storage for cost optimization use cases. I actually want to call out that we have multiple use cases where customers enabled Lens and pretty quickly identify cost-saving opportunities that justified the ROI. Basically, the saving from using Lens saved them more than what it cost them to enable Lens. So yeah, we're pretty confident that customers can keep using this service for cost optimization.
We didn't ask Pino one question though, we forgot.
Yes. What is your favorite pie?
Oh wow, I love them all, but if I have to choose one, I would be a key lime pie.
Key lime pie from Baked from the Heart. It's a great pie option, one bite. That's one of my favorites too. Doesn't take the cake over pumpkin for me though.
Yeah.
Pumpkin's still number one for me. But that was a great session.
Very great
I think we'll get moving on for the day. We've got a couple more sessions left before we wrap up the day, and we have a special guest wrapping up the day today too, right?
Yeah, we do. Jeff Barr.
Jeff Barr's coming.
Jeff Barr. Yeah,
okay.
he's